Alright, welcome to Linux Mint. Now that most of you have this set up, if you guys decide to start it up, this is what you'll be presented with, the login screen. There's a power button up here in the top right corner. It has all your options for your computer. There's a little configuration deal here. You should never need to touch this. If you don't speak English for some reason, there's an option for that. So, we'll go ahead and log in. Okay. Welcome to Linux Mint. The first thing that you'll notice is that there's a computer icon, a home icon, and a menu icon down here. The first thing I recommend before doing anything is to update your system. On your system, there should be a little icon down here that's a shield. Go ahead and click it. It'll ask you for your password. Go ahead and type that in. It should check for updates. Theoretically, I shouldn't have any updates because I already updated it earlier. But you, on the other hand, will probably have some updates. So anyway, once that's done, you're free to explore your system. Here we have what's basically my computer. It opens up. Here you have your documents, music, pictures, videos, and all this other good stuff. It'll also, if you have a CD-ROM that's in, it'll display a CD-ROM. And those are all your hard drives. Now, something that's a little bit different that Mac users will be slightly more familiar with is instead of having a My Documents folder, we have the Home folder. In it we have your downloads, documents, musics, and whatnot. Now, key features to Linux Mint. Like Windows, you can right-click on the desktop, and you can change desktop background if you so desire. And in our menu here, we have on the side here some quick shortcuts to applications that you use all the time. You have your lock screen button, log out, and then shut down computer button. And nice, like Windows 7, is you can search through all your applications. Like if I wanted to find Firefox, I can just type in Firefox. Also unique to Linux is instead of going to websites and grabbing programs, most of what you need can be gotten through the Software Center. Right here is the Software Manager. We'll click it, it'll ask you for your password, and you go ahead and log in. Now here you can search through all the different software that's available for Linux. If you want games, there's some basic games, some Office packages, whatever you like. We'll click blank games here just out of example. Here we have World of Goo, the demo for it, some other random stuff that people have. All of this is free, or most of it is anyway. If you know your specific thing that you want to install, you can type it in. And it'll search for that. And there's what I searched for, Opera. You can just double click this. It'll tell you more about it. You can scroll down to read reviews. And you can click install if you so desire. Now, occasionally for some things, due to licensing problems, they cannot be included in the Software Center, and you'll have to go and get those manually. One example of this is Google Chrome. So we're going to go and grab Chrome right quick. Download Chrome. Now, Linux Mint is based off of Ubuntu, so anything that works on Ubuntu should work on Linux Mint. Now, if you're doing installation, choose whatever you have, 32-bit or 64-bit. So in this case, we're getting 64-bit. And we'll accept and install. And then this will pop up, and then you can just hit OK. Package installer window will pop up, and shortly here it'll display a description of what you're installing, and it'll give you the option to install the package. Type in your password. This is necessary because in Linux, the password controls any access to modification of your system. Because we're installing programs, this counts as that. So this will begin installing. While we're waiting on that, I'll show you something else. One of the neat features about Linux Mint is that you have the concept of virtual desktops. In case you need more room to do something, you can touch your mouse to the top left-hand corner of your screen, and it'll show your virtual desktops. The plus sign on the side here will add more virtual desktops should you need them. You can drag and drop windows to other virtual desktops to help you arrange things. Additionally, you can also name them if you so desire. When you're done with an application, you can either close it out normally, or let's say that you're looking over at the virtual desktop window. You can drag and drop this into the trash bin down here. Okay, well, it's wanting to fight me at the moment. There we go. When you're done with virtual desktops, you can close workspaces. Now here we've seen installation finished for Google Chrome. That's done. It all completed successfully, so we can close this out. We now have Chrome. Now, start Google Chrome up. One thing to note about Linux is that your file system is a little bit different. Instead of having a C drive, you have the slash. Slash basically is called the root drive of your file system. You can think of it kind of like your C drive if you come from Windows. Inside of it, we have neatly organized folders. Bin is where all your programs and executable stuff is. Boot is the files that are needed for your booting of your computer. CD-ROM is probably where your CD-ROMs will end up when you insert them in the computer. And dev is short for device, which gives access to different devices on your computer, such as CPU info and some other things. And etc. has configuration files and some other things. The main things you need to be familiar with for right now is just your home folder. Inside the home folder, you have your username that you set up, and then there's all your downloads and music and whatnot. So that's the basic gist of using Linux Mint. If you feel like customizing things further, you can right-click on this panel down here, and you can go to Settings and Themes. Here we have the different themes that you can choose from. If you don't like any of these, you can get more online. It'll have to go and download some of the themes at first, and it'll take a little while. But once this is done, you'll have quite a few themes to choose from. While we're waiting on this, I'll introduce you to the terminal. You can easily find this by either finding it under Accessories and Terminal, or you can just search Terminal in the bar up here. terminal is where a lot of our projects are going to take place, because unlike Windows command line, this one actually makes sense and is not completely terrible. The basic commands that you should know for right now is the man command. This is short for manual. Basically how it works is you can type in man and then the name of whatever program you have a question about. So for example, Google Chrome has information about it, so we'll take a look. Man Google Chrome. Here it'll display all kinds of different information about Google Chrome. You can scroll through this, most of it's nothing that we need to be messing with, but that's the basic gist of how you can look up information about specific programs on Linux. Alright, anyway, now that our themes are done, we can choose from different ones. I was always kind of a fan of the Void one, so we'll install that one. Now that it's installed, you can go to your Installed tab, click Void, and apply theme. You'll notice now that the bar down here is split. As more programs open, it'll just stretch over. If you don't like this, you can go back to one of the other themes, such as Cinnamon, or Linux Mint theme, or Mint-X, depending on what you like. So that's the basic gist of how to use Linux Mint. If you have any other questions, just feel free to bother me inside of the Facebook group that I've set up.